Chapter 1. Shadows Over Summer. Kerriville, Texas, 1981. The sun was just beginning its slow descent behind the cedar-covered hills, casting long amber streaks across the Edwards family's 30-acre ranch. The rhythmic clank of a rusty gate breaking the quiet air signaled the end of another long day. 15-year-old John Edwards wiped his brow with the back of his hand, sweat mixing a thin film of dust and hay. The longhorns lowed softly in the distance, their curved horns silhouetted against the dying light. Chores were done. The evening, for once, belonged to him. John glanced back at the modest ranch house as he kicked off his muddy boots. Life here was quiet, but heavy with secrets, like the thunderclouds that gathered on the horizon, but never quite broke. Tonight, though, there would be a break in the mystery, a movie and dinner with Lisa Herndon. Lisa was bright, full of sass and a wild curiosity that mirrored John's own. She was also the daughter of Mayor Mike Delcott, who had an iron grip on the town's politics and a smile that never quite reached his eyes. Despite the web of gossip and suspicion surrounding her family, Lisa was kind, genuine, perhaps too curious for her own good. His parents, James and Janet Edwards, had finally come clean. They were part of an ancient organization known as the Fold. Not a cult, not exactly a military group, but something in between, a secretive league of assassins whose singular mission was to root out corruption in positions of power. The Fold had been in operation since before the time people carved stories into stone or told legends around fires. Their enemy, the Illuminati, a sprawling, intergenerational network of manipulators and elites whose members embedded themselves in governments, financial systems, media empires, and more. The Fold didn't seek power. They hunted those who abused it. Everything we do is for balance, his father had said. We remove the disease so the body can heal. John had been told that when a member of the Illuminati was deemed too dangerous to remain in play, the Fold moved quietly. His parents specialized in subtlety. They preferred to create the illusion of natural deaths, strokes, aneurysms, mental breakdowns. Janet, his mother, had an unsettling fondness for Atropa belladonna, a poisonous plant that caused hallucinations, delirium, and organ failure. She used it to fabricate death scenes that mimicked madness. There's a library she had added one night, sipping sweet tea like she was discussing her favorite book club. Every mission, every method recorded in code. Only members can read it. We call it the folded pages. For tonight, he was just a teenager on a date. Tomorrow, the shadows would return. And he would be ready. The sun had long begun its descent when John finished his evening chores on the 30-acre Longhorn ranch his family had just settled on in Kerrville, Texas. It was the summer of 1981, and though the season still held the promise of lazy afternoons and humid sunsets, John felt something different in the air. It wasn't just the move. He was used to those. It was something in the way his parents had been looking at him lately, something in their hushed tones and veiled answers. Something was coming. But for tonight, John tried to set that aside. He was heading out to a movie with Lisa Herndon, daughter of the town's mayor. A friendly hangout, he told himself. Nothing more. She was smart, sharp with her words, and had a smile that made him forget, if only briefly, the strange legacy he was about to inherit. They met at Lisa's house just before sunset. Her younger sister, Ellie, was outside teasing her with knowing smirks and playful jabs. Ellie, a petite girl with striking black hair and more attitude than her size should have allowed, grinned as the two tried to ignore her. "You ready?" Lisa asked, giving John a sideways glance, daring him to laugh at her sister's antics. "As ready as I'll ever be for a movie I've only seen 3 times, he joked. They walked down the driveway, laughter fading into a light conversation about school, the new year, and what Kerrville might hold. John was nervous. Not because of Lisa, but because he knew this school might be the last normal thing in his life. That night, they watched Superman 2 at the local theater, the kind of movie that made you forget how complicated the real world was. For a little while, They let go of secrets and legacy, laughing at the one-liners and cheering with the small crowd. Afterward, they drove to the Inn of the Hills restaurant, one of the nicest spots in Kerrville. Lisa ordered calamari to start, followed by a bistro salad and a perfectly cooked Chilean sea base with almond panko crust, Chinese black rice, roasted carrots, and orange butter. John went a different route, French onion soup to start, then an antelope country fried cutlet topped with truffle bechamel, mashed potatoes, and crisp green beans. As they ate, they talked about the summer and the rapidly approaching school year. Lisa asked what classes John planned to take. Computer programming, he said between bites. FFA, and the usual core stuff. Lisa raised an eyebrow. No honors. I had a D in junior high, he admitted. No way I'm getting into any honors classes. Lisa blinked. Really? But I've seen you do math in your head faster than I can punch numbers on a calculator. And your essays, those weren't written by someone who barely passes. John paused. Wait, you read my essays? Lisa gave a small, guilty smile. Your mom showed me. She just wanted me to encourage you, that's all. John leaned back in his chair, eyes narrowing in amusement. Of course she did. Lisa shrugged, brushing it off. She's just trying to help. So, what about college? He frowned slightly. I don't see the point yet. Not for me. That started a mild argument. Nothing loud or bitter, just a spark of tension that they quietly agreed to shelve for another time. Tonight was too good to spoil with debates about the future. They finished dinner, full and content, then drove to the point overlooking Tibby High School. It was a favorite local hangout, where teens came to talk, stargaze, or sneak in one last moment of summer freedom. As they talked more about the classes they might not share, Lisa being on the honor roll and John skimming the line of passing, John noticed a sheriff's cruiser parked near the school. You think your dad had them do a drive-by? He asked with a smirk. Lisa rolled her eyes. Probably. He thinks he's subtle. They decided it was best to head home. John walked her to the front door. They hugged, the kind of long, lingering hug that says more than either of them were ready to. Suddenly, the porch light flicked on. They jumped apart, laughing nervously. See you at scheduling and school supply pickup, Lisa said, backing into the house. Yeah, see you. She watched him walk down the driveway, catching his glance back just before she shut the door. Inside, Ellie was already being chased through the house. Why'd you turn the light on? Lisa yelled. You were about to kiss him. Ellie teased. Lisa's mother, Jilly, smirked. That didn't look like just friends hanging out. Mom. Back at the ranch, John found his mother waiting. How was your not a date? She asked with a knowing grin. It was just a movie and dinner, he replied, not meeting her eyes. Of course, she chuckled. We'll see where it goes. She sat him down and began to open up again about their past, the reason they moved so often, the reality of the double life their family had lived for generations. About the Fold, the organization sworn to eliminate corruption and evil from place power, and about their methods, stealth, secrecy, sometimes making it look like natural causes. Atropa belladonna, her favorite. Hallucinations and delirium to mask the truth. There's a library, she told him softly. A hidden record of every assassination written in code. You'll learn to read it soon enough. John didn't know what to say. The movie, the dinner, the hug on the porch, he had felt like a normal teen. But that illusion was unraveling fast. Being normal is part of the job, she said. So, you can leave when you need to. Blend in. Disappear. That's the key. He nodded slowly, then rose and headed to bed. Sleep didn't come easy. As he stared at the ceiling fan spinning above him, he couldn't help but wonder what else his parents had hidden and what kind of life was waiting for him beneath the surface. Tomorrow, the truth would dig in deeper. But for tonight, the quiet of the Texas summer night was all